So I'm rocking the CNN World in the background there. I was watching a little bit this morning. Perhaps in foolishness, trying to get the straight dope on what's going on in um, in Asia. Um, my heart really goes out to the people in the so far 3,600 fatalities that have been officially registered, and that it's only going to go up from there is heartbreaking to be sure. But I've been watching specifically the stuff about the nuclear plants and how it seems just more impending doom for all parties concerned. And CNN this morning was talking about how in the one area there's a 12.5 mile radius that people are being evacuated from due to the possibility of leaks, and then they showed the same footage over and over again. It's about 10 seconds of it, and it was just over and over and over again, and it was just one little technician. They had like a little, I don't know if it's still called a Geiger counter, but it's some sort of sensor, and they were going over the whole person, and then they showed he had like this little wound on his hand, and he went over the little wound on the hand, and it kept showing this little 10-second bit over and over and over again. And then they went to this reporter, looked real official, white guy, three-piece suit, middle-aged, and he had this big screen behind him, and he was able to, it was a little touch screen, real fancy, and he was able to explain to us in detail the before and after of uh, of the plant. Showed a picture of what they look like intact, and then showed a picture of what they look like after the damage. And then he went into this big long oration of this if scenario. If, that's the word I want to leave with you here. If. What I'm seeing a lot of at the moment is the word if right before a huge long oration of the end of the world. If. It takes half a second to say if, yet the person goes on for 20 minutes about particles and prevailing winds and everything else. Keep an eye out for this stuff. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but when you're watching the news, and any of your loved ones that are watching the news, please pay attention to these keys of words like if, or a term like in the event of. These are qualifying statements, meaning that these things have not come to pass. The reporter also, who they didn't necessarily point his qualifications, and I'm not going to state his name here, but he was merely a reporter. Not to make little of what a reporter does, but bear with me. He wasn't, say, a nuclear expert. Um, he also said he pointed out the little picture. He's like, okay, now here next to reactor 4, they have like this little containment area where the spent fuel is stored and it's stayed in water. And then he went and he literally said, now the fear is that the water has drained from this containment area. So, so buddy, you need to tell us what the fear is. I mean, so the news is now what people are fearing, huh? All right, bud. But anyway, I'm gonna stay with this thing and not necessarily make facts of it or discount things like that. But I don't know. Just I'm just gonna share with you all the things that I find and the way that I see them as they're going along. And it's not in an attempt to make fun of anyone or to bully. It's just the way that I manage to sift information from this rain of BS that we're fed. I mean, how on earth? how on earth are we supposed to do this? You know, in to get information, your best case is always going to start with being there yourself. But even being there yourself, you sometimes don't get the full picture. I mean, you can see what you see, but until you talk to the people involved or you have insight into what's going on, you still don't have it all. And I think that's what the what responsible journalism has so much to do with. You know, not only is a reporter tasked with telling you what's going on, but also providing a context for what's going on. And in the absence of information over what's going on, when when they bring up this context, like, okay, well, if the top blows off of the reactor and the wind blows this direction, and we'll be seeing this event far away. It's a speculation of context. It isn't even a context of the event itself. Now, what is a very real story is there is weather that's very, very bad for so many people that are in the north of Japan that have been displaced. And somebody had mentioned what my advice would be on how to help those people. Uh, I'm not really 100% sure on this point. I know I do know one thing. If you feel led to donate, make sure that you stick with like the bigger organizations instead of the small ones. Your larger donation organization is going to be a lot safer of a bet than, say, a smaller fly-by-night one that you hadn't heard before. The fly-by-night ones have the possibility of being fraudulent, whereas the big guys, I mean, where are they really going to hide? Now, one thing to keep in mind with the big guys is go ahead and research them as well and make sure they're using their money properly, i.e., that they're not their president's not driving around in a limousine, and that the money's actually going to where it needs to go, and that is the assistance of victims of such tragedies. Well, anyway, we'll see y'all later.